Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. First appearing in 1967's Space Seed, Khan became one of sci-fi's most notorious villains thanks to Star Trek, the original series. Ricardo Montalban's character went on to appear on the big screen in what is widely considered Star Trek's best movie, was rebooted for a new audience in the 2010s, and started a legacy that can be felt everywhere from Strange New Worlds to Lower Decks. 9 times out of 10, modern technology can enhance the experience of rewatching TV from the 1960s, whether by sharpening the image, giving the soundtrack more body, or subtly improving the special effects. Occasionally, however, technology can expose flaws that otherwise went unnoticed, and so it proves in Star Trek, the original series' Space Seed. During the big showdown pitting Kirk against Khan, the camera switches between close-ups of the two characters battling and a longer shot of the entire engineering room that serves as their arena. During these longer shots, the stunt performer stepping in for William Shatner is not just visible, but glaringly obvious. Even without the pause button or the crispest high-definition picture, the man fighting Khan looks like a totally different member of the Enterprise crew. The Shatner impersonator stands facing the camera for a good few seconds, giving viewers a clear view of his face. Star Trek, the original series, is notorious for scenes where the transition between actor and stunt performer is questionable. But Space Seed is among the hardest to miss. And that's a shame because it really does pull the viewer away from a timeless Star Trek fight. It's one thing to forgive the air punches and Kirk smashing Khan with a feeble-looking piece of plastic, but when the captain appears to swap places with a totally different officer, it's hard to focus on anything else. In Star Trek's defense, Space Seed was never meant to be viewed in such detail. On a 60s TV set, the Kirk and Khan stunt doubles would have been little more than two shapes in bright clothes flinging each other across a room. Even with a lingering shot on the face of Shatner's double, the difference would have been obscured by the picture quality of the era. DVD releases changed all that, and Kirk vs. Khan got a particularly raw deal, making Space Seed a rare instance of a Star Trek episode that's better when watched the way Gene Roddenberry intended. Charm. The velour tunics, the swaying cardboard walls, the styrofoam boulders that looked suspicious even in 1966. Yet few moments have endured quite the same cultural afterlife as that fight. The legendary Captain Kirk versus the Gorn in Arena. It was once a boundary-pushing action sequence, a testament to what early science fiction television could achieve on a tight schedule and tighter budget. But in the cold, unforgiving light of modern technology, this iconic duel has aged in a way that feels almost surreal. And the reason isn't just time, it's technology. From high-definition remasters to the internet's endless capacity for memes, what once came across as earnest sci-fi drama now plays like a slow-motion wrestling match in a thrift store lizard suit. But the story of why it's aged poorly and why fans secretly still love it is a story about how media evolves and how technology reshapes our perception of the past. In 1967, creating an alien reptilian humanoid for television was ambitious. The makeup team did the best they could: latex mask, fixed jaw, rubber scales, oversized claws. It was imaginative, and at the time, it captured viewers' imaginations. The Gorn was imposing, lumbering, physically strong. But modern technology has raised the bar so high that it's nearly impossible to view the Gorn without smiling today. Once the series was remastered in HD, every seam, every wrinkle in the rubber, every unblinking eye became crystal clear. What audiences in the 60s saw as an alien menace today looks like someone in a sauna suit who missed their cue at a children's dinosaur museum. And yet, despite this, the Gorn remains beloved. That's the strange paradox of aging sci-fi. The very flaws that make it dated also make it unforgettable. High definition. The Silent Assassin, the remastered versions of the original series were created with love and care. Shots were cleaned up, colors brightened, effects enhanced, and previously muddled details revealed. This was a gift, but also a curse for certain scenes. In standard definition, the Kirk vs. Gorn fight had a certain softness. The fuzziness of 1960s analog broadcasts made the Gorn mask appear smoother, the costume more textured, the rocks less obviously styrofoam. In high definition, everything changes. Suddenly, Kirk's judo flips are clearly performed a full meter from his target. The Gorn moves in glacial arcs that would make a sloth yawn. The supposedly razor-sharp boulders wobble when they hit the ground. It's like watching a magic trick with all the lights turned on. The problem isn't camp, it's clarity. Camp is part of what makes TOS endure. But the problem is that HD clarity exposes things the creators never intended viewers to notice. In the 1960s, TV screens were small, square, and fuzzy. Fight choreography didn't need to be precise. Viewers would fill the gaps. Clever camera angles and motion blur hit a multitude of sins. The Gorn's slow movement read as deliberate, alien. Kirk's exaggerated punches looked forceful. But in modern formats, the illusion evaporates. You can see William Shatner waiting half a second for the stuntman to fall. You can see the Gorn surviving blows no living creature should be able to shrug off. You can see the friction between storytelling ambition and physical limitations. Modern audiences, used to high-budget fights delivered at 60 frames per second, suddenly have to adjust to fight choreography that looks like it was invented on the spot. Because, frankly, it often was. Technology's second weapon against this classic fight was the internet itself. The moment HD clips appeared on YouTube, the Gorn fight became a meme factory. It inspired remixes, parodies, slow-motion breakdowns, animated recreations, even video game spoofs. Once a scene becomes a meme, it undergoes a strange transformation. It stops being dramatic and becomes communal. It becomes the kind of moment fans quote at conventions and reenact at parties. The campiness stops being a flaw and becomes a badge of honor. And so, the Gorn fight, once intended to be terrifying, became one of the most whimsically celebrated moments in Star Trek history. Technology changed the fight, but not its heart. It's easy to mock the fight now, but buried under the rubber suit, the shaky props, and the stilted choreography lies something profound. The fight still represents what Star Trek has always been about. Ingenuity over brute force, empathy over instinct, moral strength over physical dominance. The technological limitations may be painfully visible today, but the storytelling remains powerful. Kirk's decision not to kill the Gorn, to show mercy even to an enemy, remains one of the clearest expressions of Gene Roddenberry's optimistic vision of humanity. No amount of HD resolution can diminish that moment. Modern Star Trek has rewritten the Gorn, but not their legacy. Ironically, as technology made the original Gorn look increasingly comical, it also gave modern Star Trek shows the ability to reinvent the species. In Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, the Gorn are reimagined as truly terrifying, predatory, tactical, morally inscrutable. They move fast. They stalk silently. They burst from bodies like nightmarish xenomorphs. And yet, fans still compare them to the 1967 original. Not because the old version is better, but because the contrast highlights how far television has come. The old Gorn reminds us of the limits the franchise once faced and how much creativity stretched to overcome them. Perhaps the greatest irony is this: the Gorn fight has survived not despite the technology that betrayed it, but because of it. Every time technology improved, analog to digital, SD to HD, DVDs to Blu-ray, fandoms to memes, the fight found new life. It became more visible, more quoted, more lovingly mocked. The flaws are the point. They're part of the shared language of fandom. If the fight looked perfect today, it would be forgotten. But because it looks painfully, gloriously, unforgettably dated, it has become one of the most iconic scenes in science fiction history. In the end, technology changed how we see the fight, but it didn't change what it means. And maybe that's the true magic of Star Trek. No matter how much the tools of storytelling evolve, the heart of the story, mercy, empathy, imagination, remains timeless. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.